Good evening, all. Ira Epstein with your metal market wrap-up. And this wrap-up is for the evening of Wednesday, and we're at the 14th of September, 2022, about 5:43 a.m. Central Time. You know, after a big break like we had in the markets as a whole, and I'll use it that way, yesterday, it's not uncommon that the market's a little shell-shocked. It sits back. You get certain people that buy. You get other people that use rallies that just come out. They go, I'm caught. I don't want to deal with this right now. I don't know where we're at. You get all that type of thinking. Well, in the gold market, you're still holding the 1700 level. Silver hasn't really gone anywhere. Now, the copper market's interesting. I'm hearing that China is releasing, or how do I say this? Reducing some of the COVID-19 impact by early release of some of the sections of cities throughout the country. This COVID-19 doesn't work in terms of the zero tolerance that they have. They also are in talks with Moderna. Moderna shot up today about $6.50 or so, maybe more than that. It took off nicely. And why? Because those talks, suddenly they want vaccines. Well, I know one person here that has said all the way through that their vaccines don't work. That's why they use their Their zero tolerance. And now, not that they shouldn't go with Moderna or Pfizer or whoever the heck they want to go. Just get the vaccine, stop that, and get back to what's called something more normal, not this draconian measure. That's what's going on there. So let's go and take a look at what we have. In the gold, you're down 1.3% for the week right now. You're under the 18-week average. You have not been able to break through this whole area where we have that resistance point that you can see. The swing line is still in place with the pattern of higher lows and higher highs. So even though we've broken hard, we've held on to that pattern that's bullish. However, prices remain under the 18-day moving average of closes. That means the bias is down. When you have the trend up on the swing line under the 18-day average, it's not uncommon to get to that, hit it, and then try to figure out what to do afterwards. And that's about what happened. In other words, I don't think it keeps going up at this point. The question is, what is the next move? In Bollinger Bands, if you decide to break, then I think the 1694.5 level, roughly $9 lower, is where the market will find its support. And of course, you're oversold. A hard market to try to make a trade in. It's that simple. The gold-silver ratio still favors silver. Look, you have now come down almost 10 full points. That means what you needed 97 ounces of silver to get an ounce of gold, you now need 87. That's a lot. You lost 10 ounces there. And as you can see, silver's charts completely flip-flop at that of the gold. You've got higher lows, higher highs. When you hit the upper Bollinger Band, you backed away. You're overbought. As you're oversold in gold, you're overbought here. Neither are offering anything stellar at this point in time that I've seen that I could tell a client to do. In the copper market, once you got back to the 18-day average of closes, you've been whipping. You hear me over and over in my charting course talk explain that when markets make a change and they want to go back and figure out what to do, they often go to the 18-day average of closes and they just do this as they try to figure out the next move that's going to come. Even if this market breaks big, I don't see anything. If it goes up big, I don't. You'd have, if it drops right here, you still have the higher high, lower low. If it goes up from right here, you still would then have a lower low and a higher high. Momentum is flat, absolutely nothing. Resistance levels in the platinum, but this market's acting pretty darn good. You can't argue that. You've got the market fighting the resistance of the 100-day average and the upper band. Certainly the bias is to the upside. You're overbought as can be. The metals are a mess. They're not an easy pick trade right here. And the palladium, why should it be any different? Lower lows, higher high. You got to the upper Bollinger Band after coming down just back here, still in September basically, to the lower band, and you rallied it up there. All right, what do you do with it? I don't see anything. When you have a higher high and lower low and you're just whipping in these moving averages, what's there to tell you? You can't say it's in an uptrend. The definition of an uptrend would be higher highs and higher lows, plural. You don't have that. You have a lower low and a higher high. Last in the dollar index, are we going to do it again? We could be. The market went to the upper band, failed, came to the lower band, didn't break out of that. Is it going to go to the upper band again and not be able to get through that? A difficult market. Markets today we're watching in a big manner too, the Japanese yen. The central bank there called around banks to see what they could buy yen for. That's often a sign that intervention is going to happen. It's not as easy as it sounds because Japan being a G7, G20 member, they have a problem. There are treaties that say no interventions. Sometimes you make a phone call and you get your reaction. In any case, I don't like to get involved in that. It happened to me once in the past 7 to 10 years where the Swiss National Bank said, no, they're not going to do it the night before. I believed it. I lost my shirt the next day when they absolutely had lied and they did their intervention. It went absolutely insane. I'm walking away from that one. And I had sold today. I have to tell you that my recommendation to sell the yen, and it got off, was near the day's highs. It doesn't matter. I tell my clients to cover it with a profit and walk away. I don't trust that. Now, here's something I do trust. Tomorrow, Thursday, we're at the 15th. You know what that means? It means that I'm going to be holding with you the live webinar. It begins promptly at 12:30 p.m. Central Time, and it ends at 12:50. I do not record it for you to go back and visit. You either attend or you miss it. It's really that simple. If you've gotten my invites, you've signed up, we're just about full, so we have quite a few people that have signed up at this point. There are some seats left. You might want to take advantage of that. It's a free attendance, nothing that you have to do except show up. How does it work? Well, to get in, you've got to follow me here if you didn't get the invite. At the very top of this, there'll be an icon. Click on it. It'll take you right to the form you have to fill out. You'll get an email. If there are charts you want me to look at for you, I solidly recommend that you send them to me after you do that or tonight, because if you send them to me just before I open up the webinar, I'm not going to be able to get to them. I need time to create them if they're stocks, ETFs, spiders. That's going to be important. I have all the futures, basically. I'm there to answer your questions. You can ask questions, obviously, during the webinar, but I'm not going to be able to call up all the different stocks. I don't know all the symbols, number one. I certainly know most of them in the futures markets, but there's just thousands upon thousands of stocks. You have to provide the symbol, but I'm telling you, I'll never get all the studies on the chart. I will if you give me from tonight until about 10 in the morning. I'll get it all done and we'll cover each one that you write. We go pretty fast with this. You can always call my staff if you have troubles, 866-973-2077. They're there to help you. And again, just take your cursor, move it to the top here, and away you go. I'm Ira Epstein. I'll see you tomorrow, I hope. Take care.